Lincoln Riley did it again. What's up, football fans? Welcome back to my channel where I talk about anything and everything football related. Today I want to talk about Julian Lewis committing to the USC Trojans. Julian Lewis is the #1 prospect in the class of 2026, and some have even called him the LeBron James of high school football. He plays for Carrollton High School in Carrollton, Georgia, and helped the Trojans, yes, his high school team is the Trojans too, to a 14-1 season where they would go on to lose in the Georgia 7A state title game. This is the highest level of competition in the Peach State, and Juju tore through it during his freshman campaign. He recorded 4,118 yards and 48 passing touchdowns to just 12 interceptions, and put up over 530 yards against Mill Creek, which is a Georgia state title record. Needless to say, this kid is legit. He plays for the same head coach that Trevor Lawrence did back when he was at Cartersville. I got to see Julian throw at a 7-on-7 tournament this offseason where I saw plenty of what scouts were talking about. You can tell he's way beyond his years mentally and reads the field at a high level. He also showed that the other night against Langston Hughes, narrowly losing 39-34. Now that he's growing into his own physically, standing at 6'1", 190 pounds already, his ability to flick the ball down the field is pretty outstanding. A little over a month ago, Julian released his top 8 schools featuring names like LSU, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, but it really came down to Alabama and USC. His father said he never thought he'd really see his son leave SEC territory, but once Lincoln Riley made the switch to USC, it was a no-brainer. Juju said after his commitment that picking USC wasn't too hard considering what Lincoln Riley has done in the past with his quarterbacks. Riley not only being the head coach, but the quarterbacks coach and the offensive coordinator makes his relationship with the quarterbacks like none other. Julian also mentioned how USC's history at the quarterback position was very appealing and wants to be the next USC quarterback to take home a Heisman. Now obviously the 2026 signing day is literally years away, but I have reason to believe that we could see Lewis in a USC jersey a lot sooner than many expect. I've heard and read rumblings online that we could see Julian reclassify into the 2025 class, which would make a lot of sense for USC's timeline. Dating back to his time at Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley tends to land his elite quarterback recruits every 2 cycles. We can look all the way back when he had Baker, Kyler, and Jalen Hurts, then he landed Spencer Rattler in 2019, Caleb Williams in 2021, and of course Malachi Nelson last cycle in 2023. Taking a look at this cycle, the Trojans have spent very little time recruiting quarterbacks, and I wouldn't be shocked if they don't take one at all from this class. They pursued Dylan Raiola a tad, as any premier university should have, but never really seemed too serious to land him. They even pretty much ignored Elijah Brown, who's a borderline 5-star on some recruiting sites right out of Mater Dei High School. You also mix in the fact that Juju's father has been vocal about Georgia's NIL laws and how they've already had to turn down a lot of money just to keep his son eligible for high school football. Personally, I think all the signs point to Lewis reclassifying to the 2025 cycle, lining him up to be Lincoln Riley's guy after Malachi Nelson. But regardless if he reclassifies or not, this commitment is a huge boost for their 2025 and 2026 recruiting classes. You now land a premier quarterback that will be running one of the most electrifying offenses in college football. That alone is going to attract a ton of talent, making recruiting even easier for USC. This comes at the perfect time as the Trojans shift into the Big Ten. Landing a kid all the way on the opposite coast in the heart of SEC territory is exactly what USC is going to have to do to compete with big dogs like Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State just in their own conference. But let me know in the comments, do y'all think Julian Lewis will actually reclassify into the 2025 cycle? And who do you think will be next to join him in LA? And if you're a football addict like I am, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more football related content. You can catch some of my other videos right here, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Until then, peace.